All right, guys, we're here in the middle of the night. It's drizzling outside, but we've got a glorious pink free play sign here, Free Play Denton. We're about to do a quick walkthrough, give you the sights, give you the experience before you come here yourself. Come on, guys. All right, so we are in the middle of the night. These games are under work right now. We've got Xenon right here, had a right flipper issue. This is a true, amazing, classic, early solid state pinball. Amazing just to see existing in the world, and when this one is on, it's a beauty. Right next to is Star Trek. This one's mildly custom, one of Stern's best lately, and we're really happy to have it here on the floor. Right next to the newest pinball here, it controversially replaced Twilight Zone and cannot leave because it's been so popular. Stern's Aerosmith, good songs, good music, and a pretty awesome gameplay. And right next to a very rare, this is the stand-up Naomi Crazy Taxi. We've had some crazy records set on here so far. A beautiful shifter action on this game. And Crazy Taxi, of course, is just like the ode to the 90s. You've got KFC, you've got Offspring. Everything that is great from the 90s is probably in Crazy Taxi. Right next to an awesome space duel. This is 1v1, this is co-op, this is Asteroids. This is a color vector game. We've talked about Gravatar on a previous game of the week. Space Duel is in the same cabinet, made by the very same programmers, and it's a really great game. Next to Super Pac. This is not the original Super Pac from Richardson that survived Hurricane Katrina. This is a different one. This one, of course, looks a little bit better, but we kind of missed that old facade from the Hurricane Katrina Super Pac. Still a great game, still a ton of fun. We've talked about it before in podcasts. We've talked about it before in a lot of different coverage. Bally Midway Blueprint, one of the weirdest games, one of the creepiest games, but also just amazing to play and really cool that it exists. And you can play it right now here at Free Play Denton. Next to, of course, one of our classic burger times. Next to Altered Beast. This is the first Altered Beast we've added in any free play. It is, one of those learning experiences where we're trying to figure out what games work the best. Altered Beast has been requested for a long time, and now it's become one of the most popular games here. It is a little old style beat 'em up, but it's great. And of course, the transformation from man to beast is always really insane and just a ton of fun to play through. Next to Rastan, this is a beautiful single player cap. One of my favorite we've ever had, and it's not dedicated, but it's the full kit conversion Rastan. It's the best that a Rastan can get. And it's also been super well received here at Free Play Denton. Next to NBA Jam, running the code that you can, of course, perform fatalities on, do all sorts of goofy stuff. This is just a beautiful NBA Jam, probably the most popular game here. Next to what might actually be the most popular game, Miss Pac-Man. We have Miss Pacs at all of our locations, multiple at some, and all of our Miss Pacs have at least 100,000 plays, some close to 1 million. And this one is early in its life, playing great, and it's one of those things you have to play. If you're at an arcade and they have a Miss Pac, you gotta test out their Miss Pac and see how it's doing. House of the Dead 2 right here was a launch game for Free Play Richardson. Came back here, Free Play Denton, rebuilt throughout, and obviously we can't touch it until after Halloween. And you're gonna see that with a few of their shooters here. Really amazing, and House of the Dead 2 is one of my favorite House of the Deads. We got House of the Dead 1 at Free Play Arlington, and we hope we have all of the House of the Deads eventually. Crystal Castle is my personal favorite game. Basically, if you're not playing this, you're playing the wrong game. It's beautiful, it is playing great. I've rebuilt this trackball. You'll notice that the light works, the flashing light underneath works. It is one of the all-time great trackball games, and it's playing perfect. All right, guys, and then we have a totally loaded Play Choice tin with all of the gun games for a Play Choice tin. Wild Gunman from Back to the Future 2, Duck Hunt, Hogan's Alley, and then you've got a great Play Choice tin lineup. And we'll see later, we've got the other Versus games from Nintendo. So some of the games you might say, hey, they're missing, they're probably later in this arcade. But we've got Tyson's Punch-Out, Tech Mobile, Double Dragon, Russian Attack, Excite Bike. I mean, it's a totally amazing Play Choice tin lineup. And we change it all the time. We're always curating this collection. We've got Dig Dug, absolutely classic Atari. I mean, one of the best takes on the maze games ever. Narc, a dedicated game just for Free Play Denton, medium res monitor. minty control panel, minty buttons, and you can totally explode drug dealers to your heart's content. Tempest, probably the best color vector game, just in terms of raw sense. Some people would say Star Wars. I think Tempest might be it. Next to Attacks, probably the best puzzle game. At least the best 1v1 puzzle game in a bar setting. I don't think it's better than Attacks. Galaga, classic. Every arcade has to have it. It's awesome. It's perfect. Championship Sprint, medium res. It's the same as Super Sprint, but it's 2 players. This has not been released before at Free Play. We've released Super Sprint previously, and this has been a huge, huge hit, and it's playing great. Space Invaders Deluxe. This is actually one of those that Chris has talked about winning before. He won this at a tournament. We did a little bit of refurbishment work, and it is just an awesome Space Invaders. Tekken Tag Tournament with the Pinky Tag. It was controversial in our community group. It's still controversial whether or not you should have the thumb or the pinky. We brought up Pinky Tag, Tekken Tag out, and it's been doing great. Dedicated Tron, you gotta have one in every arcade. Dedicated Magic Sword, or Conversion Magic Sword, and a dedicated track and field. It's a great game, and I feel like every Free Play arcade could have a Magic Sword and do great. We've got right here next to a Turtles in Time. You'll see this. This is actually the dedicated Turtles in Time with a dedicated control panel overlay. Gorgeous game. Really, really proud. We've got a Turtles in Time at Arlington, but it's actually running in the original Turtles cab. This one's a dedicated Turtles in Time. One of 750 Atari Force Liberators, dedicated, running the original trackball, original buttons, original everything. You can't play any like this in a public arcade, and it's here at Free Play Denton right now. 1943, one of the all-time classic shmups, one of the all-time classic shooters. Gorf, of course, the first real digitized voice game, or one of the first, with an awesome multi-game unit and the cool space ranks that flash as you advance through the game. One of the best cabinets of all time, if not the best game. One of our goofy gun games. You gotta have gun games at a barcade, and Revolution X, the Aerosmith Music is the Weapon arcade game is just, I mean, ridiculous and beautiful. And everyone that comes in this arcade says, have y'all ever heard of that? And it's so nice walking them around and showing them this and having it here at Free Play Denton. Then of course Arkanoid, the best of the block breaking spinner games. The original Arkanoid we think was the best, and it's been doing great here. Clutch Hitter, a not long here game. It will be rotated out soon, but this is a full kit Clutch Hitter. One of the disputed best baseball games. There weren't a lot of great baseball arcade games, but this is one of the best. You can play it here right now at Free Play Denton. Dedicated elevator action. You might have played this before in another Free Play. 100% Taito dedicated elevator action, playing great. We've rebuilt it from the ground up. It is playing great. It's just awesome. This is a beautiful game, and it doesn't get much better than the actual Taito curved dedicated cabinets. Soul Calibur, we've talked about it before. Well, I think it's my favorite 3D fighting game. It's been requested just a ton. We've rebuilt it from the ground up, brought to Free Play Denton. This is the actual dedicated track and field. You might recognize this cabinet from the Magic Sword earlier. Dedicated track and field stand-up. We've got the Cocktail 4-player version at Arlington. They have a little bit more space, but this has received a ton of play, and it's doing great. The smaller arcade, of course, means a smaller fighting game cabinet. We've got the Sega Astro City dedicated. They're actually still running Vampire Hunter 2 here. Normally this is a Super Turbo cabinet, but we brought Vampire Hunter 2 for a special event, and they haven't been able to get off it so far. We were just recording our podcast here, so if you see them, and if you take a look, we've got 52 tabs here at Free Play Denton. No arcade that I know of has ever had anything like this. We've got it here. We also have a ton of amazing packaged products, but the star of the show is, of course, that draft lineup. We've been nominated for every award so far as Free Play for beer. I think that Free Play Denton is going to put us over the top and win it. Just about everything that's possible to win for a beer bar. And it's right next to an original Mortal Kombat. This is not Mortal Kombat 2. This is not Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. This is an original dedicated Mortal Kombat 1. It's a game that I remember from my childhood, and it's a game that's just probably the perfect bar fighting game. We've got Diet Go-Go, static platformer. It plays a lot like Snow Bros, but a lot of people have argued that it's even better. Next to Area 51, you gotta have it. Carnival, relatively rare to see in a working environment here, and we've got it here at Free Play Denton. They are, in the back cleaning up, getting ready to close. We're in the middle of the night. So if you hear some weird noises, that's what that is. Neogeo, 4-slot Neogeo, changing all the time. Playing great, gorgeous monitor on this. Right now they got Bust a Move again, Metal Slug 4, Garu, Mark of the Wolves, and Ghost Pilots. Just, I mean, a great lineup, and they change it all the time. Frogger, one of the all-time classics you have to have. Star Wars Trilogy, kind of a new classic that we found that most people really love having in arcade. We have it at Free Play Richardson. We brought it to another one at Free Play Denton, and we're really happy to have it here. It gets a ton of play and is just like a total varied game. Like, you use this control scheme to do just a ton of different things. First-person shooter, lightsaber battle, it's just really awesome. Of course, one of the prestige games here, Escape from the Planet of the Robot Monsters, with the Hall Effect joysticks. It is just gorgeous. It is totally different than almost anything you play in an arcade, and we're really happy to have it here. Blasteroids, the true sequel to Asteroids. It's a game that if you've never played it, you have to come to Free Play. You have to play through it. Don't worry about score, just beat it with a friend, and it's one of the best experiences I can think of. And another game every arcade has to have, Simpsons 4-player. You know you have to have these Konami 4-players. We've got it right next to that Turtles in Time from before. What's really funny is we keep having these Simpsons stickers pop up on this machine. I think someone in Free Play or in the Denton area is printing them and putting them on there. We've kind of stopped covering them up as much or removing them because it's really interesting thing. And so one of the cool things about Free Play Denton, though, you walk down this hall and you have a whole bonus game room with some of the coolest pinball that have ever existed. So we'll just go through this list really quick. Of course, we've got the Heaven is a Place on Earth. Amazing, amazing. It's an LED neon that covers basically the entire wall. It's 10 feet long. One of the just best style elements at this entire arcade. But all right, so we've got Stern Star Wars next to a Medieval Madness, maybe the best pinball ever, next to an original Scared Stiff. This has not been reproduced. This is all original. It's gorgeous, it's beautiful, and the techs here love this game so much they've taken extra good care of it. So, like, if you ever come and you want to play one pinball that you probably can't play in this condition anywhere else in the world, it's Scared Stiff, and it's just amazing. Next to a Lethal Weapon 3, a personal favorite. I think it's probably the best pinball we have here. That would be totally controversial because there's a Medieval Madness, a Scared Stiff, but I love Lethal Weapon 3, and I'm totally proud that we brought it. Next to one of the newest and coolest pinballs, Dialed In. It's considered a top 10, top 7 pinball, and we opened it brand new here. It's only been here for a month and a half, and it's great. It's playing great. And then we've kind of got a prestige wall here under our Heaven is a Place on Earth neons. Donkey Kong, Mario Brothers Wide Body, Williams Robotron, and then of course we have a color tapper signed by Lauren Featherstone, the world record holder. She broke the world record over at Free Play Arlington. We brought one of the 100 total in the world color tappers here to Free Play Denton. It's playing great. I love this game. You've got to have it if you've got a good beer bar, and we of course have a good beer bar, so we have a color tapper. And this is something most people won't appreciate, but as an arcade nerd, you've gotta love. Nintendo Red Tent, this side versus Super Mario Brothers. The original code for Nintendo Super Mario Brothers. Really, really cool. And then on this side, we've got versus Castlevania. So if you saw any gaps at all in our Play Choice 10, it's covered here at this Nintendo Red Tent. And then of course, it's so amazing to finish on a side-by-side cocktail joust. They made 500 of these ever. We have it here at Free Play Denton. It is here in Denton, Texas. You can come play this game, and you should. It's amazing. It's perfect for this location, given the size and the shape of this game, and we're so happy we brought it to Denton. All right, guys, that was the middle of the night tour of Free Play Denton. You saw all of our video games, all of our pinball machines. You saw our massive draft wall. You have to come down here. It's only $5 plus tax to come in, play our games, play our pinballs, drink our beers. Come down here. You will not regret it. Free Play Denton is seriously one of my favorite arcades in the entire world.